Hello all, I welcome you all to this session of Basic Thermodynamics. In today's class, we will discuss classes inequality, principle of increase in entropy, then entropy change during ideal processes. If you recall, in the last class what we have covered is that Clausius theorem. That is, if you operate an heat engine between the same temperature limits, always the efficiency of a reversible heat engine will be greater than the efficiency of an irreversible heat engine operating between same temperature limits. That is what we have studied in Clausius theorem. And we have also studied the cyclic integral of delta Q by T, that is the property entropy will be equal to 0 for a reversible process. Now look at this diagram. What we are trying to represent is that there are two thermal reservoirs, one which is at higher temperature and the other one is at lower temperature. So the temperature of the high temperature reservoir is denoted by T suffix H and the temperature of the lower temperature reservoir is denoted by T suffix L. Now there is a heat engine A which we are denoting it as a reversible heat engine. So heat engine A is a reversible heat engine. Let us say it receives QH amount of heat from the higher temperature reservoir and rejects QL amount of heat to the lower temperature reservoir. Meanwhile, it is doing work which is QH minus QL, which we know. Now, on the other hand, there is one more engine which is irreversible engine. That means there are irreversible which is there in the conversion of heat into work. That means obviously the efficiency will fall down. Now look at this. It is also receiving the same amount of heat from the higher temperature reservoir, but there is a difference in heat rejection. That is why we are denoting it by QL dash. Hence, there will also be difference of work compared to that of reversible engine. If at all efficiency has to drop, QL will increase compared to that of a reversible heat engine because heat rejection will increase, whereas the work will drop or efficiency will drop. That is what is the idea with which this diagram or block diagram is drawn. The idea is two heat engines are operating between the same temperature limits. One is a reversible heat engine and the other one is a irreversible heat engine. Now look at this. We know that by the principle of Carnot engine operating between same temperature, efficiency of reversible heat engine is greater than that of efficiency of irreversible heat engine. So if as soon as you look at this irreversible term, so there are irreversibilities in converting the heat into work. So there is losses. Obviously the efficiency of reversible will be greater than that of the efficiency of irreversible heat engine, or in other words you can also write this as efficiency of irreversible heat engine operating between same temperature will be lesser than efficiency of reversible heat engine operating between same two temperature limits. Now we know that here efficiency of, we are talking about efficiency of reversible heat engine means efficiency of A is less than efficiency of B, irreversible heat engine, is less than efficiency of A. Now look at this, efficiency of B can be written as 1 minus QL dash by QH. 1 minus QL dash by QH, that is the deduction of the equation. Efficiency is given by output by input, where output is W dash here and input is QH. Now W dash can be simplified as QH minus QL dash. Now if you simplify that equation, what you will get is QH minus QL dash by QH, that can be simplified as 1 minus QL dash by QH. Now on the other hand, efficiency of a reversible heat engine can be given as the formula 1 minus TL, that is lower temperature, divided by higher temperature. This we already know. Now solving this equation, you can cancel out 1 on each side, and simply what you can do is that minus QL dash, send this to here, divided by TL will be QH by minus QH by TH. Or you can send this to the other side of the equation, that is QH by TH minus QL dash by TL will be lesser than 0. Now in other terms, what we can write is that cyclic integral of irreversible heat engine, that is delta Q by T, will be less than 0. Now this we are denoting it by, for a cycle, that is irreversible cycle, delta Q by T will be lesser than 0. We already have proved that cyclic integral of delta Q by T for a reversible cycle is equal to 0, and by this, either it has to be reversible or irreversible cycle. You can also say that cyclic integral of delta Q by T will never be equal to 0. It is impossible. Or in other words, we can also say that cyclic integral of delta Q by T will always be lesser than or equal to 0. Now this is what we call it as Classis inequality. So let us talk about principle of increase in entropy. Now consider a surrounding which is at temperature T0, and there is a system which is at temperature T, and you are supplying the heat from surrounding that which is at temperature T0 to a system which is at temperature T, and of course system will be doing work. So remember, we called system and surrounding as universe. So here the universe means system plus surroundings. Now this is what the outer line is representing, the universe. Consider a process. Remember, we are considering a process where this is happening. So consider a process as shown in figure, in which a quantity of heat delta Q is transferred, that is a quantity of heat delta Q is transferred from the surrounding at temperature T0 to the system which is at temperature T. Now for this process we can write, for system change in entropy is given by, that is for a process we are writing, remember it is for a process. So change in entropy for a system, for a process is given by, it has to be always greater than or equal to delta Q by T. It is not a cycle, don't get confused. Change in entropy of a system for a process is always greater than or equal to delta Q by T. Now change in entropy of a surrounding also we can write, that is change in entropy of a surrounding, ds of surrounding will be minus delta Q by respective temperature, that is in case of surrounding the temperature is T0. Okay. So minus we are writing it because the heat is lost from the surrounding, or the heat is being drawn in from the surrounding. So negative heat transfer in terms of surroundings. So change in entropy of the surrounding is given by minus delta Q by T0. So this is a process, remember. So negative because it is losing the heat. Now change in entropy of the universe, that is change in entropy of system plus surroundings. So change in entropy of the universe can be written as what? Change in entropy of the system plus change in entropy of the surrounding, that is this plus this. Or this can also be written as change in entropy of the universe must be greater than or equal to delta Q by T minus delta Q by T naught. That is, for a process, change in entropy of the universe must be greater than or equal to, that is, I will take delta Q common. So what we will have is 1 by T minus 1 by T naught. Now what we know that the heat transfer is happening from surrounding to the system. So obviously T naught must be greater than T. So what happen if T naught is greater than T in this equation? Always this term will be positive, because this will be higher than, that is 1 by T will be higher than 1 by T naught. So this term is positive, means always ds of the universe will be greater than or equal to 0. So you cannot have, for a process, change in entropy of the universe lesser than 0. It has to be greater than or equal to 0. So change in entropy of the universe will be greater than or equal to 0. That is what we are saying, principle of increase in entropy. Now we will see entropy change during ideal processes. We know that there are few ideal processes like constant volume process, constant pressure process, constant temperature process, or it can be a reversible adiabatic process. Now we have already learnt that how to write these constant processes or these ideal processes in a pressure volume diagram, right. So now in entropy change, what is more important for is that temperature versus entropy plot. So we are writing the temperature in the y axis and the entropy in the x axis. So it is a temperature entropy plot. Now if you look at the constant volume process, we already have learned how the process can be a constant volume. So volume is constant, either you can add the heat or remove the heat. So in a constant volume process, we already have learnt that work transfer will be 0. However, that doesn't comes into picture here. We are much worried about the heat transfer, because after all we are deriving for entropy. So if you are deriving for entropy, entropy is given by delta Q by T. So if you have the equation of heat transfer for all the processes, probably we can derive the entropy change for any of this process. So in order to derive entropy for any of these ideal processes, we must be having heat transfer equation for these ideal processes. Let us see. Now constant volume process in a temperature entropy diagram is represented by this curve. That is, you cannot predict, like you have to practice. If temperature in temperature and entropy plot, if you try to represent the constant volume process, it looks like this. That is, it is taken by the experiments, how volume constant process upon heat addition changes in TS plot. So this we have to remember. Now in order to derive change in entropy, ds is given by delta Q by T, right. So we are interested in between 1 and 2. So integrate this equation between the limits 1 and 2, see what you will get. Now delta Q, we know that for a constant volume process, it is given by m CV dt. So this equation we already have learnt, that is delta Q for a constant volume process is given by mCV dt. So that T is already there, keep it here. Now what will happen? So S2 minus S1 or delta S, if you integrate this, what will happen? mCV are constant, integration of what you will have, the remaining is 1 by T dt, that is ln t between the limits 1 to 2. Now simplify this, mCV ln t2 minus ln t1, or it can also be written as mCV ln t2 by t1, that is mCV ln of t final by t initial. If the process is happening between 1 and 2 and if 2 is the final state, this has to be mCV ln of t2 by t1 or mCV ln of t final by t initial. That is because ln A minus ln B is ln A by B. Okay. So that is about, for a constant volume process, the change in entropy S2 minus S1 or delta S is given by mCV ln of T2 by T1. So let us go for constant pressure process. Constant pressure process is also called as isobaric process. Of course, here it is, this also can be called as isochoric process. So constant pressure process is represented like this curve in a TS diagram. Now there is a confusion how to write, like in even volume constant diagram also look like the pressure constant curve in a TS plot. So if you try to write the volume constant line here, it will be much steeper than the pressure constant process. So know this, because in a TS diagram, if ever you encounter a plot where you have to draw the constant volume as well as constant pressure process, we need to make this differentiation, where the volume constant process in a TS diagram will be much steeper than that of the pressure constant process. Now go for the same equation. Change in entropy we are interested in is given by delta Q by T. So if you know the heat transfer equation for a constant pressure process, we will be able to derive change in entropy for a constant pressure process. So this can be written as integrated between limits 1 and 2, that is delta Q for a constant pressure process is given by mCp dt, and T is already there, keep it as it is. mCp dt is heat transfer equation, which we remember, during the first law of thermodynamics we had derived heat transfer equation for all the ideal processes. Now mCp dt by T, integrate it. So this can be, after integration, S2 minus S1, mCp, take it outside because they are constant, integrate dt by T, that is 1 by T dt will be ln T between the limits 1 and 2. Now apply the limits, mCp ln T2 minus ln T1. So very similar to the last derivation, mCp ln T2 by T1, because ln A minus ln B is equal to ln of A by B. So this is change in entropy during constant pressure process. This is change in entropy during constant pressure process, which is given by mCp ln of T final by T initial, because ln A minus ln B is ln of A by B. Look at these two expressions, they are much simpler and easier to remember. mCp ln of T final by T initial, here constant pressure mCp ln of T final by T initial. Now go for constant temperature process. Now same equation we will start with, change in entropy is given by delta Q by T. Now delta Q for constant temperature process is given by, for example, we know this one, first law of thermodynamics, Q minus W is equal to delta U. We had learned that delta U will be 0 for a temperature constant process, because delta U is given by mCv dt. If there is no change in temperature, delta U will be 0, or you can say that delta Q will be delta W, or heat transfer is equal to work transfer. Now work transfer, we know that it can be given by PdV. Okay. Now we also know that PV is equal to MRT for an ideal gas. Okay. Now we are interested in here, substitute, P is equal to MRT by V. Now substitute this back in delta Q equation. Look what we get. Delta Q is equal to MR T by V dV. Okay. Our delta Q by T, we are interested in delta Q by T value here. Go for delta Q by T is equal to, this T and T gets cancelled out. What we get is that MR dV by V. Now this is what I am going to substitute it back to this equation. Okay. Now ds is equal to MR by V dV. This is the equation. Now integrate it between the limits 1 to 2. ds is equal to, MR dV by V. What we will get? MR 1 by V dV ln of V integration limits 1 to 2. Or what we can write is delta S is equal to MR ln V2 minus ln V1, or it is MR ln of V2 by V1. So change in entropy for constant temperature or an isothermal process is given by MR ln of V final by V initial, or V2 by V1 here, because V final here is V2 and V initial is V1. So that is how you should remember MR ln of V final by V initial. Now this looks horizontal in a temperature entropy plant, which we can temperature entropy plot, which we can easily remember or interpret, because it is a temperature entropy plot. If temperature is constant, it has to be a horizontal line in a TS diagram. On the other hand, if it is a reversible adiabatic or isentropic process, isentropic means entropy remains constant. So if entropy is remaining constant, it has to be a vertical line in a temperature entropy plot. So this will be denoted by a vertical line in a TS diagram, that is isentropic process or reversible adiabatic process. Now go for this, the same equation, entropy is given by delta Q by T, where delta Q for an adiabatic process is 0, because adiabatic means no heat transfer. So no heat transfer means change in entropy for an adiabatic process will be equal to 0. Let us solve few problems on entropy. Read the problem first. A heat engine absorbs 200 kilojoule per second of heat at 227 degrees centigrade and rejects heat at 27 degree centigrade. Now we are talking about a heat engine. It is better that we can represent a block diagram of a heat engine, then we can talk about these data. So he has given that it is a heat engine and it must receive heat from higher temperature reservoir and must reject part of the heat to the lower temperature reservoir, and while doing so it should produce some work. So generally we represent this as higher temperature reservoir, and the temperature here we represent it by T suffix H, and this we call it as a sink or lower temperature reservoir. The temperature here is temperature T suffix L, and the corresponding heat transfer we generally denote it by Q suffix L. So he has given heat engine absorbs 200 kilojoule per second of heat. So he has given you 200 kilojoule per second of heat is absorbed by the heat engine. At 227 degree Celsius. So 227 plus 273, remember temperature has to be kept in Kelvin. So this gives us 500 Kelvin and rejects heat at 27 degree Celsius. So this must be 27 plus 273, that is 300 Kelvin. So he has given the temperature TH, temperature TL, and he has given the value of QH. Three separate cases of heat rejections are reported. So there are three separate cases of heat rejection are considered. The first case is 180 kilojoule per second of heat is rejected. The second case is 120 kilojoule per second of heat is rejected, and the third case is 60 kilojoule per second of heat is rejected. Then he is asking you classify each cycle. So first what we will do, we will consider the first case. So let us assume that the first case. So what is there in the first case? The QL. So let us denote the QL for the first case as QL1. So QL1 is 180 kilojoule per second, and QH is same, no need to worry. So QL1 represent the heat rejected to the sink or lower temperature reservoir in the first case. So QH remains same, that is 200 kilojoule per second. So other than this QL, nothing changes for each of this cycle, only QL changes for each cycle. Then you have to talk about or classify each cycle. So now what we know is that cyclic integral of delta Q by T, we already have talked about Classis inequality or Classis theorem. What we have talked is, we know that cyclic integral of delta Q by T is equal to 0 if it is a reversible cycle. So that means in order to classify cycle, we need to check the value of cyclic integral of delta Q by T. Similarly, cyclic integral of delta Q by T will be lesser than 0 if it is an irreversible cycle. If you get cyclic integral of delta Q by T greater than 0, it is impossible. So this we already know. So we know that this from the Classis inequality or Classis theorem. Now we will check for this value, and depending on what value we get, we are going to comment if the heat rejection is this much, which cycle it is, okay, whether it is a reversible cycle or whether it is a irreversible cycle or whether it is a impossible cycle. So we are checking for this value. So cyclic integral of delta Q by T, so QH by TH minus because QL is heat rejected, so it has to be represented by negative sign. So in the first cycle we are representing, so it must be QL1 by TL. No need to represent TL1 because temperature remains constant for all the cycles. Only the value of QL is changing. So get this value, how much we will get? QH we know 200, TH also we know 500 minus QL1 is 180 by TL1 is, that is TL is 300, we are getting the value as minus 0.2. Now we can talk about the unit as well. What unit you are going to get? Q, you are substituting it in kilojoule per second, and temperature we are substituting it in Kelvin. So it is kilojoule per second Kelvin. So this is the unit of, or kilojoule per Kelvin second. This is the unit of entropy. So cyclic integral of delta Q by T, we are getting negative answer. So what is the idea here? It is less than 0 because we have got cyclic integral of delta q as negative. So what we can comment is, since cyclic integral of delta q by t is less than 0, this cycle is irreversible. Okay. Now go for the second condition, that is remaining all terms are same, only QL value is changing. Let us represent it by QL2, which is equal to 120 kilojoule per second. So 120 kilojoule per second. So no need to write other datas, only this is what is changing. So go for the same expression, cyclic integral of delta q by t. We will check for this value, then we will comment. So the same expression, delta q qh by th minus ql2 by tl. QH is same for the second case also, the heat supplied is same, whereas heat rejection is changing for each case. Temperature is 500 minus QL is 120 by lower temperature is 300. So check for this value, what we are getting is 0 kilojoule per second Kelvin or kilojoule per Kelvin second. So what is this? If you are getting cyclic integral of delta q by t is 0, what is the idea or what is the proof we have got? Since cyclic integral of delta q by t is equal to 0, this cycle is a reversible cycle. Okay, since we are getting this value equated to 0, it is a reversible cycle. Now go for the last condition, that is 60 kilojoule per second of heat is rejected. So QL3, let us denote it as QL3, 60 kilojoule per second. Okay, now go for the same expression. We will check for cyclic integral of delta q by t value. Here also it is QH by TH minus QL3 by TL, where QH is same 200 and TH is 500 minus here QL3 is 60 by TL is 300. You are getting the value as 0.2 kilojoule per second Kelvin. So what is that? If you are getting greater than 0, since the value of cyclic integral of delta q by t is greater than 0, it is impossible. Since cyclic integral of delta q by t is greater than 0, this is impossible. So this cycle cannot be achieved. What we mean to say is that you cannot have a heat rejection as less as 60 kilojoule per second. That means to say, if you are operating between these two temperature limits, the maximum efficiency is governed by this heat rejection. So once these temperatures are fixed, you know that itself is the maximum efficiency what you are going to get. Now if you are getting the value QL as less as 60 kilojoule per second, it is impossible. You cannot reject only 60 kilojoule per second of heat. So that is impossible cycle. If you are getting this as less than 0, it is what? Irreversible. And on the other hand, if you are getting as 0, it is a reversible cycle. Thank you.